First, I'd like to acknowledge and give thanks to Lupe for our prayer this morning. And thank you also, Jojo, for the kind remarks and for the warm welcome that you gave me this morning. This is my first time here to be a part of an event at SPREP, and I'm very excited that it is for a commemoration or celebration of International Women's Day. So on behalf of Samoa Victim Support Group, or SVSG, I extend our sincere thanks for the kind invitation to be a part of SPREP's commemoration of this year's International Women's Day. It is always an honor to be a part of an organization's initiative to honor women and to uplift women. While today is a celebration, it is also a call to action to give, and that giving can take many forms. So at SVSG, the work that we undertake can be seen in many areas, and one of the main areas is through social enterprise or through our Nofotane program. Through our Nofotane program, we walk alongside women who have faced hardship, women who have experienced vulnerability, displacement, violence, or economic insecurity. Through Nofotane program, we have allowed women to gain skills to regain a sense of independence, not only from their partners who have abused them, but also to give them strength as a woman to have her own voice and her own say within her family. So there is sewing and tailoring that have been transformed into thriving micro enterprises. Nofotane women undertake LA printing, which preserves our culture while generating income at the same time. There's handicrafts and weaving that sustain our tradition and also allows them to be entrepreneurs. And food processing and catering from home kitchens that grow into income generating businesses. So for Nofotane women, these are not just products, but they're symbols of their restored confidence. They're symbols of economic independence, and they're symbols of dignity regained. There have been studies, not just internationally, but also within Samoa itself, whereby these were carried out, I think, through the National University of Samoa. And one of the main factors or key factors that lead to domestic violence is when families are under financial stresses or financial pressure. So to address that, the Nofotane women are empowered to be breadwinners or to earn money within their families, because then they gain the respect of their husband, their husband's families, the village, and the communities in Samoa. Nofotane has traditionally been a term that has usually been used almost in a derogatory way to it's almost to place someone in their place, which is always as a lower rank within Samoan families. But by empowering Nofotane women to be breadwinners and to restore their confidence in themselves, the word Nofotane has gained strength. So it's no longer seen as a term that diminishes you, but it's a term that you can be proud of to be called a Nofotane woman, because it takes nothing away from those women's ability to earn and stand as independent women who are no longer reliable, who are no longer relying on their husbands, and thereby because there's greater financial support within the marriage, the instances of abuse has come down. So it is we are very proud of our Nofotane women, and we want to encourage everyone to explore their shop that is attached to our main office in Apia. It's right next to the police station. Not the most attractive location, I guess, because people don't really see police station as somewhere you would go to explore and buy things, but it's at the bottom of the two-story house next to the main police headquarters. So come and have a look. So these are one of the products that they gave me as a present, which I'm wearing today. One of the other projects that SVSG is undertaking is funded through the UN Trust Fund, and that is to address the issue of gender-based violence And it's been rolled out, and we started just earlier this year throughout 13 constituencies or districts in Samoa. And when we go out to these villages or these districts, we have these conversations about how domestic violence occurs, how men can do more to address the issue, and what values in our Samoan culture addresses these issues in terms of supporting women. It does not condone violence against women. So when we have these conversations in the villages, it is always a return to the values that make us Samoan. I think the reason why I bring this up, it's because these conversations that change mindsets are conversations that happen in our homes. These are not things that the government or even our leaders can impose on our people. These changes that come throughout our societies happen organically within families, amongst friends, as to what is an acceptable way to address women in any setting. And so one way that you can give as a colleague, as a father, as a partner, is to have these conversations at home and at the workplace as to how domestic violence occurs, which is usually because the dignity of a woman is not respected, and how you can be a part of the solution, which is if you are in HR, is to ensure that there are policies in place to discourage sexual harassment. If you are part of a church, it's to have conversations about how women leadership can be encouraged, and how if you're part of a family and you have sons, it's conversations about how boys should behave towards girls. So when I say that we all have a part to play, to give, in terms of uplifting women and protecting women, you do not necessarily need to be part of any sort of formal role within any formal organization. You can do a lot where you are right now. Just for context, I don't work at SVSG full time. I'm a lawyer by profession, so I have a law firm, but I do this work on a volunteer basis in my free time. So I think this is how I try to give back to the community. The other work that SVSG does to help women is through a community law center. A lot of women who are in trouble and need help, for instance, through obtaining protection orders from courts, very rarely have the financial means to pay a lawyer at a market rate. So the community law centers allows women to come to us for help, and we let them pay what they can. So for instance, the consultation fee for a lawyer in the private sector or market rate will be anything from like 100 to 150 to 200. To do a district court case, which is what you'll be doing if you're going to try to obtain protection orders against your partner, that'll run you anything from 1,000 to 2,000. So these women could never access justice if they are made to pay what we can afford, people who are relatively well off. So our community law centers was just launched around mid last year, and already we're seeing a huge influx of women who need our help. We also help them in terms of things that happen in the village. For instance, if you're banished from the village, there are ways to appeal that through the Lands and Titles courts. So we help them put together their petitions, applications. Although we cannot appear for them personally in the Lands and Titles court, they have to go themselves because lawyers are not allowed. We help them to actually word the petition and tell them, oh, you can, say this when you appear for your matter. So those are all the different ways that our services are offered for women who are financially struggling. So I think, I'm letting you know, because if you yourself know anyone within your churches or anyone within your communities who needs help, especially if she's in an abusive relationship, you can always refer her to, or the family, to our community law center. And we are, of course, stationed right next to the police station, and you can always help out. The other way that Samoa Victim Support Group tries to support women in need and children is, of course, as mentioned, is the Campus of Hope, where children who are abused in families, who can no longer care for them, or children who are abandoned, are housed. So we have a lot of volunteers. Different churches partner with us to care for the children in the campus, while we pay for the matrons or the ladies who actually look after the children. A lot of support comes through churches, especially sisters through the Catholic Church. They're there to counsel the children, and also the Church of Latter-day Saints, or LDS. They give us a lot of support for the campus to feed the children. So these are all ways that we try to assist those in need. And of course, we have an office administration of about 21 workers who are paid. And then a lot of people give us help or donate their time through terms of helping us for proposal writing. They help us put together fundraising campaigns. So people with different strengths, people with different professions always find a way, and they just come and ask us, how can I be of assistance? And we try to identify a way that that they can help. So for example, partners or spouses of those who are working here through regional organizations or the expatriate community, they come in and help us with those, because a lot of the work that needs to be done at that level has to be done by someone like someone from the board, but we are all volunteer members, so when we're busy, we don't have the time to put together those things, so that's always appreciated when volunteers do that for us. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Samoa Victim Support Group is basically a community-funded initiative, in that because we're an NGO, we rely heavily on donations. So while our donor partners fund a lot of projects, it is the community who always provide donations, either financial or in kind, such as, the things I see here, like food for the campus, clothes for the children. So SVSG is a Samoan, it's an initiative by the Samoan people. It's supported by the Samoan people, because without it, we wouldn't be able to operate at all. So we want to thank our community in Samoa, which means everyone here in this room, because a lot of the funding that we get is through donations, such as the donations that I know will be handed over later. So we always appreciate and thank the community for the support for SVSG. So I think to conclude, the International Women's Day calls on us to reflect on progress, but also to renew a commitment. There's always work to be done. There's always ways to improve and step up and step forward as a people. We want to continue working with our partners, and we always welcome new partners. And that's why we're very excited when SPREP reached out and invited us to be a part of it. Even just being here and letting you know the work that we do and ways you can become involved. It's always a valued opportunity for us. And we want to make sure every woman is safe, and every woman has access to opportunity, and every woman can contribute meaningfully to economic growth in every aspect of Samoa, and that every woman can stand with confidence and dignity. So we look forward to continued partnership and collaboration with SPREP to continue to give power to women. Whakatai lava moroa noa, so for my